Kann ich? Ja. Welcome to the TV finals of the 13th Columbia 300 Vienna Open. My name is Herbert Bickel. I'm the editor of Bowlingdigital.com. And next to me is one of the best competitors in this tournament, PBA champion, European Bowling Tour champion, Dominic Barrett. Hi, Dom. How are you doing?
Hi, well, I'm doing pretty good. Thanks very much for having me. Unfortunately, I'm not bowling, but, you know, second place isn't, well, not second place, but second place being away from the lanes, sitting with you guys isn't so bad. It's you know, kind of still a prize to be involved in the tournament. It's great to be here. Thanks for having me.
Dom, we had 263 players in this tournament from 26 countries. Impressive number of ladies, by the way. 68 women in this tournament. This is awesome for the European Bowling Tour. It's a European Bowling Tour Gold event, actually the last this season. It's the 14th stop on a 16 tournament tour this year. Offers more than 70,000 euro in prize money. And we had some exciting bowling today after the cut to the top 64 yesterday night.
Yeah, it's a fantastic tournament. It's one that I've been coming to for many years. It's clashed with the Weber Cup a few times, but luckily the schedule's changed a little bit and it's moved back a week, the Weber Cup, and now 2 weeks this year, and we're able to come and compete, and it's a fantastic event. Thomas Tibble and Thomas Gross do such a great job with, obviously Ben sat next to us as well, does a fantastic job. And it's one of the most friendliest events that you'd ever go to, I think. Everybody puts in such a great effort and will go out of their way to do anything for you, and it makes a big difference. And I think that's why, exactly what you just said, 263 bowlers come to this event. It's a fantastic event.
Yeah, it's a very popular tournament on the Bowling Tour, the 13th edition. In the meantime, I've been here all 13 times. And the top 64 from yesterday bowled 6 games, so actually the top 8 bypassed the first round. Then there was a cut to the top 22 who joined the top 8 in the second round. They carried their 6-game total forward into the third round, the top 18. And then we had some very exciting bowling in the last round. How did you see that? I mean, that was so close for the last spot in this Stepladder final. It was just amazing.
It was pretty crazy. You know, I've bowled all day. I didn't get a bye, so I've bowled 18 games today. And every round came down to, I know Osku scraped through the very first round. He thought he was out. He opened the 10th frame for, I think it was around 12:63 this morning. Even if that's not right, you know, it was really close. Osku thought he was out, and he looked around, and everybody struggled in the last game. And that's kind of happened every block that we played today.
Yeah, and he just beat out, and you were correct, it was 12:63. Just one pin ahead of Jesper Agabo,
yeah.
who went out, and the last game of the third round was just amazing. I wrote this down, so that was so close. The last players, and Oscar needed a double and a 7 to beat Jolene.
Right. And that's exactly what he got by one pin.
Yeah, and then hit it on the nose, but got the 7.
Exactly.
And the others
but
were
not easy. He managed to get the double, and I bowled on the same pair as him. One lane did not hook, and one lane hooked out of the building, and that was after no re-oil after the round before.
Exactly. So that was a 12th game without oiling.
Yeah.
Got burned.
And just announcing here.
And was the double and a 7. Oscar got the number 4 seed, and he bowls Thomas Larsen of Denmark, who was actually for the entire round in the top 3, and then he struggled and then was lucky to make the third spot for the finals. And it's about Oscar is about to start the Stepladder finals.
I think, you know, these are fresh lanes, just been oiled. They've had 10 minutes practice. The other guys got to come over, Jesper and Stu, for the first 7 minutes. It was just Oscar and Thomas for the last 3, and you know, looking at the fresh conditions, I have to say I think Thomas is your favourite at the moment, because he had 820 in his qualifying block a couple of days ago on the fresh for the first 3 games.
Yep.
That's over a 275 average. He had 824, so 274 average. It's huge. These aren't easy. They're not an easy condition. The middles do hook. It's only, I think, 2.5 to 1 ratio, but that's if you play the correct part of the lane.
Honestly, this is a great stepladder final again here in Vienna.
Absolutely.
We have 3 PBA champions, though not an
4.
American.
4 PBA champions.
Jesper has a PBA title?
He has 2, I believe. He has Bullmaster, I think. And he certainly has Bahrain this year.
Okay. Yeah,
So
the problem always with
there's 4
World
PBA.
Bowling Tour events is if you must know if the player is a PBA member or not. Oscar just said it's pretty warm, and
Yeah, he's come to see us. He's fanning himself. His biggest fan, he says. I think he has a couple at home right now. I'm sure Ida and Veronica are at home watching Daddy.
Yeah. Oscar is a 2-time champion, by the way.
Yeah, we've been
Won
talking
the
about it
title
this week.
in 2005 and 11. So this would be an unprecedented 3rd title if he wins it today.
I don't know. Oscar's asking me what ball I think he thinks, I think he should use, and I walked in the building Thursday, had my first squad. Yeah, and I said to him earlier, I have no idea even now, after bowling on the fresh 5 times, and he feels the same, I think. Thomas, on the other hand, has a really good idea. Good shot from Thomas. They both spared in the first frame. Thomas gets up in the second frame and strikes. This is one of the toughest pairs in the whole building. We've always said this. I know the lanes have been leveled this year. Keg will have come in.
But we do the TV finals always on 27-20.
Always on 27-20. They've still got the same characteristics. They're a little bit better, I think. Characteristics are still there, though. Yeah, good shot from Moscow.
Left and
Ring
10 pin. Yeah, Oscar can win his 3rd title, and the other 2 finalists, 2nd place, Stuart Williams, who's a regular competitor in Vienna.
Absolutely, yeah.
Often in the finals, but never made the last step to 1st place. And Jesper, okay, to say...
He's been on an unbelievable run this year, Jesper. He's been bowling fantastic, and
he leads the European Bowling Tour in point rankings, which is
by a long
tough
distance.
enough.
Right now, after this event, I think if he's going to finish at least 2nd. I think he's almost put out of sight going into Qatar. Qatar's going to be a platinum event for 250 points on the European Bowling Tour. I'm not sure any of us can catch him with that. He's bowled great this year.
Especially if he would win this, I think this is done. If he gets the 150 points from Vienna, but at least he can, as the number 1 seed, he can only finish 2nd as the worst. So no matter what, great
Did good
year
shots
for
there
him.
for Moscow. Ring 10, and then he got onto the other lane and looked pretty good. So Oscar went to the Haywire, one of the newer releases from Rotor that doesn't have a really big core in it. It's kind of like a medium RG, medium differential ball that doesn't flare too much or hook too much down lane, kind of rolls very hard, and good ball for the fresh. Thomas here is using the new Columbia 300 swerve. I don't really know all of the ins and outs of that bowling ball.
I bet that makes Mike Quitter very happy, who's here from Abernard International, watching the show as many years.
This is just going to fix a little problem here on lane 28, a ball jam. One of the greatest things this week has been the staff. You know, every pair had, every lane had 3 cards on. You either get your pin that was in the gutter, the pin setter that we broke, or a ball jam. And every lane, so you just hold up a line, hold up your card, all different colours, hold it at reception, and didn't even need to hold it towards reception. There'll be someone sat around your pair, and it would be sorting it out within a minute every time. They were fantastic.
Yeah, mostly they were even quicker than you with a card.
Yeah, you'd hold it, be kind of go, I've got it already, don't worry.
Got it.
And these twister pins in this bowling centre, old A2 machines, they do fly out sometimes. So they're very fast. The staff this week have been fantastic. Makes a big difference to the tournaments for the players too. You have to wait around and get a pin respotted or get the pin out of the gutter. Oh.
Ooh.
Look, he dropped it. I don't think it was his ankle because he didn't get his hand around it at all. I think like it would. Yeah, kind of. Oscar and I are discussing it right now. I kind of like he dropped it into the backswing. I don't know if we can get a replay. You have a replay?
Maybe we have one. No, not this one, unfortunately.
Oh, that's a bad intentions hybrid. I see. So many bowling balls come out, I don't really know. That's Oscar just informed me that's the bad intentions hybrid.
Hopefully it has nothing to do with the ball jam.
No, I don't think it'd be anything to the ball jam. We all make sure our feel feels good before we take our first step. We put a hand in the ball, we make sure everything feels good. I don't think you can say the ball jam did anything for that. I'm not sure his hand just slipped out. Maybe it was a little loose. Maybe something happened to his grip pressure. It didn't look like an ankle though. So he made sure he held on to that one. Yeah, I think he's dropped it because he held on to that one, and that's why the ball skidded so far. He got around it more. His thumb kind of came over the ball. Oscar and Thomas are actually discussing it. Thomas is going to fix his thumb hole. He's taking the ball off the rack now. He's kind of doing a little bit of, I think what I say on PBA is gardening. He's got the scissors out, he's got some tape out, he's taking out some old tape, he's going to put in some new. We'll have to ask him after maybe what happened. See if Oscar can take advantage of this.
No surprise.
He got away with that one. We all know in this bowling centre, 28 does hook a bit more. A lot more sometimes. Kind of depends when you catch it on fresh. It's not easy, this pair. He got that one right, which you have to do on this lane, on lane 28, but that was certainly a lot more right than he thought he was going to, he wanted to send it. And it was hard too, but it picked up and kind of crumbled the bucket.
Let's go back to what we talked about, the titles. You own 11 European Bowling Tour titles.
That's all right, yeah. I'm quite far behind Paul still.
Yeah, he had a good year last year. Even finished first in the EBT Masters this year, so to round that up. But
so just something happened there too with Oscar. Oscar always wipes his ball, but he goes around his track. Everybody knows where their track is, and you kind of wipe around the track. Oscar put his left hand on the ball, and it felt slippery. He came off and wiped the whole ball that time. He never wipes the whole ball because he doesn't need to. So maybe there is something on 28. I think there's a bit of grease down there. Or got in Thomas's thumb. Who knows? He came back, wiped it, threw a great shot, struck. By now, spare for Oscar, and then triple. He's on 2-teen pace, and then Thomas unfortunately went spare, double, and then the miss after a double is going to cost him a lot of pins. Gets 8, doesn't manage to convert to spare. So he's actually on 180 pace right now. But yeah, sorry, Toby, you were talking about the titles.
We were, you have the EBT titles 11, PBA titles including a major. Won the World Championship even there. Same as Oscar, amazingly. That was his first major title as well. He is second on the European title list and has 4 PBA titles.
5 now.
5 now, sorry.
With the World Open.
With the World Open.
A couple of months ago.
Which was...
Yeah, I mean, that's a major, really.
This is the one to win if you get more than 80,000 first prize.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Thomas has 2 international PBA titles.
Yeah.
Yeah. And was the, like Oscar, ranking leader.
Yep, that's right. I think
Oscar's
had
an amazing final here in regard to the titles. When the Americans count, okay, we have the Stepladder finals combined titles. This is, I think, the best we
Yeah,
okay, would be a little bit different if you were there. Maybe 1 or 2 titles more or less, but still, was those players.
This is a fantastic final. This is a very difficult tournament to do well in. There's lots of great bowlers that come and play. Lots of multi-titleists from lots of different tours around the world. Wu Su Hong won a few years ago from the multi-titleist from the Asian tour. That just shows the vast majority of different bowlers and federations also that come and support this tournament. Like you said before about all the girls that came to play. They have their World Championships in Abu Dhabi in a couple of months. They're kind of looking for federation to be looking where they can send their girls to prepare for that event. This is a fantastic place. You get to play together in doubles and also compete against the best in the world.
Yeah, Thomas is unfortunately unable to put any pressure on Oscar since he missed that ball.
Yeah, you see both of those kind of went out to the right. I'm not sure if he missed them on his hands or he's certainly not feeling comfortable right now. That's for sure. Oscar, on the other hand, like I said before, was the underdog in this match, but with all the stuff that's kind of happened to Thomas and it's affected him a little bit, he's kind of got the opportunity to be the runaway winner. If he puts a double together now, he just needs to spare out for 230. This is a couple of big shots coming for Oscar.
Ooh,
wow.
Wow.
Now, I said before, these are twister pins, but...
Nice break for Oscar. And he's
that's crazy.
Again. Yeah.
I don't think the pin even hit the deck, right? Here comes the action replay.
You can watch it now. 7 and 10 at the end.
It just hit the deck before it hit the 10th pin. So it wasn't as impressive as we thought.
Okay.
That's pretty good right there.
Yeah.
That's a lot of power.
So is that the biggest advantage of a two-handed player? The revolutions you get on the ball, or the speed, or what is it?
Yeah, it is for sure. I mean, for the best bowlers in the world, we have to match our speed to the amount of revolutions we have. If you have a lower amount of revolutions, you want to have a lower speed so your ball has a chance to hook.
No words.
But if you have high revolutions, then obviously to control how much your ball's going to hook, you need a higher speed. But that's very, very difficult to control. There's only a few bowlers around the world that can do it. Obviously, Jason Belmonte's the best in the world. He does it better than everyone else. And then there's Oscar, as you can just see right now, and this is a very tough condition.
Jesper as well. We will see him later.
Yep.
Yeah. Also, attacks the lanes from the left-hand side.
But still, I mean, to do that two-handed and be accurate, I think to be accurate two-handed is harder than being accurate one-handed with your thumb in the ball. But then you do get a little bit more misroom being two-handed if you match up the correct way. If you don't do it the right way, then you've got no chance anyway. It looks, you've seen the guys who kind of don't get their body in the right position, the hand in the right position, and they're okay when they bowl on a house shot, but when they get onto anything like this, it's impossible for them. But if you come and watch the best bowlers in the world, like I said, Jesper, who's dominating the European Tour this year, Oscar, who's just won his 5th PBA title in the biggest tournament we've had this year, and obviously Jason, best bowler in the world, they all do it the right way. And I think there's a lot to be said about that.
Yeah. So, must be disappointing for Thomas right now. Oscar's working on a 5-bagger, and since the ball dropped in the gutter, he's actually...
He can strike out now only for 214.
And that will be not enough, most probably.
Expect him to do that. It hasn't been far away the last few frames. It's been pretty close. He's felt a lot better about it. I expect him to strike out for 214. That means Oscar basically needs, he's on 230 pace. He's had good count so far. He can strike out for 279 through 7 frames. So he needs 2 marks if he's going to have bad count, or just 1 mark if he has good count. With Thomas having the 214 pace.
Which brings me back to the last game when he needed a double and a 7 to beat Jolene Persson-Parnefors from Sweden for the number 4 spot. Got the double.
That was a really good double, though. I mean, we're talking about the 7 count, and he left at 3-6-10, but it's easy to do. But the double was really good, and he knew exactly what he needed to do. He was asking everybody. He walked over and he saw that he had to get the double to get past Passy anyway, and then the guy he was bowling with Francois, he knew he needed a double to get past him, so he knew the double was extremely important.
Pazzi actually had it in his own hands. He could shut out Osku, but he didn't get the strike in the tens.
It wasn't easy to strike, let me tell you.
I
had 138.
But he had the chance to shut him out, and then Osku could have done nothing.
You're right. And as bowlers, when we're bowling only on 6 pairs, 12 lanes, you look around, you kind of have if you don't know exactly, then you have a very good idea.
There's the spare for Osku. And now it's just mathematically when this will be over.
No, if he goes and says he leaves a split now on 7 count, he'd need mark in the 10th if Thomas strikes out. You don't want to go up there now and leave a split and with a bad count and then give Thomas that opportunity, because this is not the easiest condition we've ever bowled on. It's pretty tough. The last thing you want to do is actually have to work for it in the last frame. So this is a big shot for Oscar, just to make sure.
Almost the same.
Kind of got away with that. We said like before that 28 hooks more, lane 27 is quite tight. That one was firm. Didn't really get it right, so it wasn't offline, but it was very firm, and he didn't 210. We've seen a lot of 210s this week. He makes this, it's done.
And it is. So that means Oscar will advance, and Thomas.
Yeah, got a feel for Thomas. Maybe we could get him 2,500
this week.
Great tournament, have good prize funds, and you can add that on top of the stuff he won in the doubles. So, it's a good week for Thomas. We need to get him in here, I think, maybe see what, or at least ask him off camera if he doesn't want to come into the box about it, but try to find out exactly what happened. Thomas isn't the most outgoing guy. He might not like being asked that question, but you don't ask, you don't get her, but it's your job. You got to go over there and you got to ask him what happened. Take the microphone with you. Oscar's asking me a question.
Asia, right? So it goes for Roberts.
We have a kind of an inside joke with Storm, and when we all make finals and stuff, and very close to being in a Weber Cup team. And if we were 5 in the Weber Cup, then pretty sure Jesper Svensson would be the 5th member. And the way that Jesper keeps bowling, he's going to be in the top 4 in the Weber Cup pretty soon anyway. So.
Yeah, but you have still the home field advantage or not?
Yeah, we do. I mean, I'm very fortunate that it's in England. It's not anywhere near where I live. It's about a 3.5, 4 hour drive away. But I have a lot of friends and family that come up, get to see me bowl once a year. But even more than that, they get to be a part of this great event in the Weber Cup. I'm very lucky to be a part of it, and it's a great honour to be the captain this year. All right, Thomas is finishing up with 190. Oscar's going to, even if he opens for 220, he's fine. He's going to be going through, and we'll be seeing Stuart in a minute. If you hear some pins away from this pair, it'll be Stuart throwing a couple of shots just to warm up before he comes and gets what we believe is going to be 2 practice shots on each lane before he starts off against Oscar. I don't think Oscar will get any. You can hear that. Great round of applause there for Thomas. He's bowled great all week. Yeah. Oscar trying a different ball.
Hopefully now Oscar can show us his speed ball on the special.
I think he's still going to stay within himself at the moment. He knows that he's got enough pins. He's not going to throw a speed ball yet. I think he's just trying to... not sure what ball we picked up at all there. There we go. There's the cross and he bags up on it,
Back up. So that was way easier than expected for Oscar.
A lot of drama happened there. I'm not quite sure what happened in the 4 frames of Thomas. Ask Ben. So Oscar's asking if he can change surface in between games. I don't see why not. I mean, on tour we can. This is a new match. But it's always best to get the confirmation from the tournament manager before you do anything.
Closes out with a strike. The 234, 191 victory in the first game. That
Very
means
convincing game there from Moscow. They're pretty good. So we have Thomas Gross, the tournament organizer, manager, who's done all the work behind the scenes. He has the final say in all decisions, and Moscow's going to get a confirmation if he's allowed to change surface in between games. I'm sure he just wants to rub over a pad to keep the cover stock quite fresh, just very lightly, nothing too drastic.
gives me a chance to ask you something about the disappointing news Bowling got last week. Bowling was on the short list of eight sports, which could be included in the 2020 Olympic Games in Japan. And last week, the organizing committee announced that bowling didn't make it on the list of events. So that was, for me, it was a little bit disappointing to see that they have chosen 5 of the 8 sports for a couple of events. So it was baseball, softball was the number 1, and karate was the number 2. But then I thought bowling would be going against karate for the number 2 spot, and then sport climbing and surfing and skating even were okay. It's not yet confirmed. The Congress has to
just a recommendation, but obviously it's going to be a very strong recommendation, and it was a big disappointment. I was following all the news September 28th, just 6 days ago or so, and it was a big disappointment. We were really looking forward to just the excitement it built up, and how, as a bowler, we felt that might be able to be an Olympian. I mean, you're not sure how many bowlers be able to go from each country. It might have just been one, whatever it was going to be. It didn't matter. Just the fact that you had a chance, and
that was the closest we have ever been.
Yeah, it was incredible. I know Kevin Dornberger and his team done a fantastic job of promoting bowling towards the Olympic Committee, and him and his team got us that opportunity. I thought we had a great chance. I really was very disappointed when I started hearing rumours that we weren't going to be selected, and then it got announced, or not selected, but have that proposal.
Bowling will not give up his efforts.
I'm sure they won't. I mean, why would they? We got so close. We done a great job. Everyone in bowling got right behind it, and I think it has a great future. Obviously, for me, I've just turned 30, so in 5 years' time, if that was going to happen in Tokyo in 2020, I'd have been 35. So I've still got a couple of opportunities if it does get in. Maybe that was one of the reasons why we didn't get in. This is just me speculating. Maybe because we were the first time trying to get in. Maybe that was why. I don't know. I really don't know. It's not for me to have inside information or anything. I don't know anything of that that really. But it was a big disappointment. But at the same time, we did ourselves proud. We got very close, like you say, closest we've ever been.
True, bowling has never been on any short list of the Olympic Games, and never actually had a chance or a hearing in Japan what they did, and supported by the Japanese Federation. They set up this tournament we just talked about that Oscar won.
Yeah, the World Open.
World Open was a fantastic prize fund for men and women. The women's champion also got more than 80,000 grand for the victory.
And I was lucky enough to be a part of that as well. I managed to bowl good enough in the qualifying to be a part of the final. Obviously didn't win or even make the final like Oscar, but it was great to be a part of it. It was a fantastic event. The stadium arena that they built in kind of like a really, really big concert stadium. They had 8 halls for about 20,000 people in each hall, and we were in one of those. They did a great job. We were there all day promoting Zenvin bowling. Had the disability bowling was unbelievable. They did probably, I'm not going to say a better job than Oscar winning, but it was fantastic, the display we put on. But we weren't allowed to invite the Olympic Committee. You're not allowed to say to them, if they turn up, then that's great, but you're not allowed to actually invite them. I'm not sure if they came. I don't actually know the ins and outs, but I don't think we could have done any more.
Okay, let's come to the semifinals. This is the number 2 seed, Stuart Williams. Yeah, Dom's compatriot, fellow PBA champion. Actually won your the first titles for England in a span of just a couple of days.
A few hours.
Or
Yeah.
for the finals, yeah. And he won the first, and you the second, right?
Yeah, he won the first ever title from an Englishman, PBA title. He did it around, I believe it was around 1 o'clock in the afternoon, 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and I won mine about 6 o'clock in the afternoon, the way that the TV... But, you know...
That was because they produced a couple of shows during the World Series of Bowling.
Yeah. He definitely helped me. Because, you know, like, oh, that's great, Stu won, you know. Stu won, you know, I want to win even more now. So... All right, there's Oski knocking the pins out the back again. That's exactly what we were talking about. They do fly up the gutters, but they're so quick. I mean, how quick were they then?
But I think I can remember a couple of years ago when Oscar was in the finals, he hit one of the pins so hard that he could easily grab them without hitting the foul line.
Yeah, I've seen some pins fly out this week. I think I'm leading. I got one to almost the arrows, but he said it doesn't count because it came up the lane. Oski's asking me about the football back home in England, the soccer. We're not talking about that.
I think it was 3-0 for Arsenal after 20 minutes. Dom.
Yeah, I'm a Manchester United supporter. I have been all my life, and yeah, I haven't looked into it too much. Herbert came up to me. Luckily enough, it wasn't straight after I bowled 138. So
no, I just waited until it was over for sure. I didn't want to.
He said, "Yeah, you're losing 3-0 after 21 minutes." Like, oh.
No.
Not such a good day, I guess.
And for me, it's a good day because my team, SF Köln, won 3-0 in Schalke, at Schalke, so that's exactly the result.
Okay, so something interesting here from Stuart. Opens up, he's using the Optimus Solid on the right lane, a ball that's relatively early. He has polished it. It's got a smoother mid lane, just to try and smooth out the right lane there because it does have a lot more friction to it, or hooks a lot more. Obviously the same oil pattern. And then he's using the crossroad on the left lane. Obviously wants the ball to come off the back of the pattern a little bit harder, not see carry down quite as much. Or oil down lane perhaps, or how tight it's playing because of the topography. Whichever one it is doesn't really matter to us so much, but it's just the way that the ball reacts, and he's open with the double.
Stuart is always a tough competitor in Vienna, especially when it comes to the doubles. He has won more than once.
Yeah, we almost won together, Stu and I, this week.
Yep.
I'll say he carried me. I bowled. I didn't have the best reaction this week, I must admit. I did struggle, and kind of told everybody who I bowled doubles with. We kind of bowled a Weber Cup doubles this year where Martin, Oscar, Stuart and myself all played with each other. So we played 3 doubles, and
once again.
yeah, maybe that is from lane 28, you know. Don't know. Yeah, with Thomas. Luckily, Oscar doesn't use his thumb, so he's not got too many things to worry about. And yes, you did carry. I had a good block. I had my best block of the week, 187 over, I think it was, and
wow,
good shot there from Oscar. And Stu bowled one of his average blocks at 14-20. So we managed to lead. Well, leading at the time, and we finished second. Thomas Gross went on to win.
Yeah, it was the South African
Francois
Loeb.
So that was great.
Yeah. I mean, even this shows comes from South Africa, bowls in the Vienna Open.
That's something interesting from Stu. I'm sure the first frame he used an Optimus Solid on the right lane, and now
already changed.
I mean, maybe I got it wrong. But it's definitely a crossroad now. I think he did. It was smoother. It went high when he struck the first time. But I'm sure it was... No, it's not the first time I've been wrong in my life if I'm wrong, but... Oscar's heckling me now because I got Thomas's ball wrong as well. Kind of used to being wrong today. Every decision I made kind of wasn't the right one.
Nice spare, Stu.
Yeah, so Oscar's just reminding us to say hello to all the families at home. There's Ida and V at home cheering on Oscar, and Tina's no doubt watching back home in Phoenix cheering on Stu. And they just reminded us that Martin's around as well, kind of Weber Cup teammates, and we've got a big job to do in a couple of weeks. And no doubt that Martin's future wife, no doubt, and 2 kids. Amelia had her birthday a couple of days ago, sorry, and unfortunately he wasn't there for that. That's one thing that is probably the toughest thing that these guys have to go through. I'm not there yet. I don't have kids yet. You know, Cassie and I have been talking about it a lot, and it's very difficult being away from home as much as we are, and we're just away for 3 weeks in Asia. Obviously they talk to their families every day, and it makes a big difference now with technology. You can do that with Skype and FaceTime or whatever devices you use.
Important shot for Oscar now, and
A good shot there. But I know how tough it is for me, and I don't have a young family like these guys do, Oscar and Martin. So, it means when I make finals like this, that it probably means more, because they've gone away to do their job. They've left home to do their job. They've sacrificed, spending time with their young kids, and it's paying off. So,
and at least now they can watch with all the live streaming on the finals.
You guys do a great job too. I mean, without this, it would be 10 times harder for sure.
Yeah, the live stream here at Vienna Open is brought to you by my friends Flavio Cuva and Bea Grauwiller from Switzerland, of course. I think they changed their equipment faster than you change yours with the bowling balls, and you have the latest bowling balls all the time due to the contracts with the ball companies, all the different ones. Like, Columbia 300 is the sponsor here of the tournament, but the same as your tournament, Storm and Trek. And
it's kind of like any other sport. We don't get forced to using the new equipment, but it's new equipment, new technology. We want to be a part of that as well. We want to see what we can. We want an advantage against our competition. There's no doubt about it. And when the ball companies bring out great equipment, it definitely helps us with that.
So Oscar's on 4 strikes now, and Stu just got a...
Yeah, he moved from the 3-6-10 last time on this lane. Had a little bit more angle, ball push probably a little bit too far. You're never going to be able to guess that's going to happen. And he ring 10s.
He definitely needs to find something now, or the match will be over.
Yeah, he's a couple of strikes behind right now. Stu's on a 2-0 pace. Double, 7 spare, strike, 9 spare through 5 frames. Oscar has 9 spare, a 4-bagger through 5 frames. So Stu's on a 2-0 pace. Oscar's already on a 220 pace. But I think the important thing is that Stu does have the pocket right now. He knows where it is. Hasn't missed on the left lane yet. That's a lane that Stu he chose to finish on.
Underlines it. So what's next for you guys? Going back to the States for the
next for us we have I was close to going away next weekend, but we're just being away for best part of 3 weeks, and just want to be at home a little bit. We're going to have a very busy Fall Classic, like you say, towards the end of this month, all the way through to April. Basically, we're very, very busy. So having the next week at home, I think we all go. Actually, Stu's going to be in England. We're going to do a couple of work days. We're going to have a couple of good clinics with Tim Mackham, West Malott and West Pye back home in England. And then we have the Weber Cup. I can't believe you forgot about the Weber Cup.
Oh, sorry. We talked about that already.
So we have that not next weekend, the weekend after, but we have the build up to that as well, where we have our, our clinics and matchmakers that we all do together. Very much looking forward to all of those. Normally have a great turnout, and then that is a really a fantastic way to start the week off of the Weber Cup. And then we finished the Weber Cup, probably going to be late Sunday night because it always seems to be very close. We have two great teams that play against each other. And then the next day, very early in the morning, we have a flight to Vegas. And we get into Vegas at 2 o'clock in the afternoon. And then we bowl at 5 in the PBA doubles. So we have a very long week. We have the Weber Cup, have a 12-hour flight, bowl the same day we land. The doubles, then we fall into the full classic, like you say, over in South Point, followed by a team competition, PBA team competition as well.
So how do you manage that with all the bowling balls and stuff like this, or do you just travel and get some new balls in the States?
Well, we've been... So the team that we have in the States, another good shot there from Stu, you know that.
Bad luck. Another 10-pin on the right lane.
You can't really do much about that, to be honest.
Yeah.
He 3-6-10.
Oscar was on a 290.
3-6-10, he made the move, ring 10. You don't always know it's going to ring 10 again. And maybe he adjusted, maybe he didn't. He wasn't sure if the last one was good enough, or maybe he did adjust. He thought he threw it really good and done it again. There's not much you can do about that. But yeah, going to Vegas, it's going to be the Weber Cup team plus Patrick Allen playing the 5-man team event. So we're really looking forward to doing that as well.
What's your team name?
Our team name?
Yeah, because they're making
we haven't really
some fun
finalised it. It's kind of fun. I'm not sure how much I can say. Oscar's asking me what. It's our team name.
In Vegas.
So with PA's BFFs, that's what we kind of decided on, but we're not really going to announce it. So Patrick Allen's B doesn't mean best friends forever. It's bitchy foreign something that begins with an F. That's what Del Ballard nicknamed us.
It sounds fun as they wanted to have it, like the fish team.
And the funniest thing is, Del called us the BFFs in front of people. Norm Duke came over and said, "Hey Del, I thought I was one of your good friends." He goes, "No, you don't want to be part of these BFFs. They're a little different." All right, so Oscar's got a 6-bagger. That's already a 240 pace. You can strike out with 220. So again, Oscar's the same position as the last match. He just needs 2 marks. He got away with that. This is the lane that is going to hook. So if you're going to miss right on a lane, you want it to be this one. But that could have easily been a 2-8-10. If that was on the left lane, at 2-8-10s all day long. This one came back a little bit more. He gets the bucket out, the 2-8 out. Almost even chipped the 10. Okay, so he makes this.
And he does.
Good
Oh,
effort.
that was a good effort, right?
All the way up to about 5 feet from the arrows, that one. And in the gutter too, by the way. Oscar's got this thing. I put one up about the same position earlier, but I did it on the lane. He said the lane skids a lot more than the gutter, so it doesn't count. So
Okay.
the poor guy having to walk up the whole lane, pick the pin up. I mean, Oscar was probably closer. He could have gone and got it himself. There we are. Good job, though. I mean, like we said before, it's not just because it's a final they're that quick. They've been that quick all week. A great job by everyone involved in this bowling tournament. All right, so now Oscar just needs a mark in the next 2 frames. Hasn't missed on this lane in the last 3 shots. That's in. We got away with that. That could have been a lot worse. That was a good 7. Makes this, and it's... You know what? He's lost a bit of count now. Even if he does make this, and he goes 9 miss, that's 234. Stu strikes out. Oh, it's 225. Not,
Here we go.
235. He makes this, it's over. There we go. Apologies for my adding up. I'm trying to make it a little bit more climatic, but no, that's it now. Stu, as you can see, just getting on the approach. You can add up. Knows if he strikes out 225, Oscar just needs basically 5 pins.
And another 10 pin on that lane. Yeah, Oscar basically sealed that.
Well, it's done now. He's done. It was over when he made that spare. No, I feel for Stu. He got.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if he changed ball or not. I guess he didn't. But anyway, the 3-6-10 happened in the third frame. He made an adjustment. He goes ring 10 on the same lane after striking. So that cost him 40 pins because he didn't strike on that lane. You got a different game. If those two ring 10s fall over, Stu would actually be leading. But they didn't. They ring 10'd, and here we are. Stu's now out, finishes third place. A great event for Stu again. Always bowls well in his centre. Knows this bowling centre very well. Knows what to do, knows how to match up in his centre, knows what balls to bring, knows what balls to use, what part of lane to play. One of the best in his centre doing it because he's always around the stepladder. But
and besides all the prize money for the doubles, he will get a 3,500 euro for finishing third in this year's event, and I bet he will be back next year.
Yeah, great event
another
for Stu again. He'll be back for sure. It's one of his favourite centres in the whole world. He bowls very well here, and unfortunately hasn't quite won this event yet, but he'll be back.
Didn't he met his wife here?
No,
so,
actually, the first time he met his wife,
brought her over to
he brought her here. Yeah, or she came when she bowled 1 year. So Oscar there was actually just trying to make his line a little easier. He moved right with a duller ball, just a few boards. Knew it was going to hook through the face, or maybe even go Brooklyn. Just try to dry it out a little bit. Just he knows he's playing a lefty now. He's got to make his side as good as he possibly can. You know, they've already been pretty good. He had 240 where he changed ball. He's now just had 228 where he gave away the 10th frame. Could have been 250. He's in looking pretty good shape, but Jesper's the hottest bowler in Europe right now. With great final. Oscar wants Jesper to be able to use a high-end ball. That has to be in the rules, he says. But, you know, actually Jesper for the first time this week in a long time used a reactive in the last 6 games, and he destroyed the field. That's why he ran away with the lead. He used, it wasn't a high-end ball. That's why Oscar was saying he should use a high-end ball. It was a loco, very small core, smoother, weaker cover stock, but had a great last 6 games doing it. So we're just going to wait for Jesper here. He's going to come in over and they're going to turn the scores off, put practice back on. He's going to get a couple of shots in each lane. There we go. The names have been taken out almost. He gets a couple of shots. Oh, he gets 3 shots on lane because he's top seed, I guess. Ben just confirmed it. I'm very interested in what Jesper does because he didn't look that devastating bowling urethane today. He had his score to get to where he finished, where he led, sorry. That was mostly with reactive. So it's kind of interesting to see what he's going to do right now. As you can see, he finished 393 over.
Yeah. Gives me the time to tell an interesting story on Jesper. First time I met him in international competition was at the World Youth Championships. It's pretty much the same as Dom Barrett, by the way.
Yeah, a few years
we
ago.
met at the World Youth in Florida, Orlando.
That's right.
And I met Jesper in Hong Kong. So that means if you do something in bowling and be on the national team, bowl in the World Youth Championship, you can travel the world.
Yeah.
Always nice places to go for the youth bowlers. You won at that time in Orlando 2 World Youth titles.
Yeah, I won. I wasn't able to go to the one before, the kind of qualifying in England didn't allow me to go for whatever reason. I wasn't able to make that one, and I wasn't that good as a young kid. I started when I was 12. I started a little late, but the very first event I ever bowled in World Youth, I won singles. I'm quite proud of that because I always wanted to go, and kind of the 2 events we had before, I wanted to go but didn't go for whatever reason. So won the singles, like you say, which was great, and won the all events. Actually, I had the record for all events for all these years now, until Wesley Lowe beat it.
Yeah, that was in Hong Kong.
In Hong Kong.
Yeah, and Jesper won the Masters.
Yeah.
That was impressive bowling. And when I came in on Thursday for the onside coverage, I tried to get a photo of Jesper for bowlingdigital.com for the coverage. And he said, "Oh, I haven't done much yet." I said, "Oh, wait. I'm pretty sure there will be more to write about this." And that was on Friday. We met yesterday, and he said, "Okay, I did better," but he was not happy with his performance at all. And all of a sudden, today, found something and ended up as the #1 seed for the tournament.
Yeah, it's incredible. I mean, he's a great competitor. He knows his game very well. He plays for his strengths, and you can't really ask for much more than that.
And this will be a very interesting final for everybody, because I think this is the first time in history of
the battle of the two-handers
that we have two-handed players in the championship match. Oscar, who bowls from the right-hand side, and Jesper from the left-hand side. And Jesper has decided that Oscar has to start.
Whoa!
Okay. Hopefully we're going to see a strike fest.
So the English guys have nicknamed that the seagull now, because it's a flying white pin, and if you go to the seaside in England, you get the seagulls diving at your chips, basically, in your food. So they've nicknamed that the seagull. And there's been plenty of those this week. Oscar said, "Does that one count?" I think that one counts. I have a feeling Jesper's got just about as much in his bag if he wants it to. So he's gone with urethane. Not hooking it too much. He's not playing too much on the outside part of the lane. Kind of looks like it's through about 12-13 at the arrows, going to about 10-8 down lane as break point. But neither of these guys are throwing it slow, that's for sure.
Maybe we should only count the strikes.
Yeah, maybe. Kind of a little bit further left on that lane, maybe. That looked more like it was over 10. We'll have to look at him on the right lane again. Maybe it hooks a lot more from the left too. Or maybe I just can't see, who knows. We'll find out again in a minute. But 2 great shots from Jesper and a double. Oscar has already bowled 2 games on this lane, on these lanes, sorry, this pair. So he feels pretty comfortable. He's had 2 really good scores. See if he can keep it going.
Yes.
Yeah, another great shot,
2-2.
Herbert's counting strikes. He's going for the WTBA scoring system.
That was exactly what I was thinking about. And that new system, which, well, sometimes is pretty hard to understand. And
I heard they just changed it for the World Bowling Tour Finals next year. At the end of 2015 in February, there'll be finals next year. But I don't know what they are. I heard the rumors they were going to change it. I kind of tried to find out information about it, but I couldn't find it.
For those
they're going to be slightly different, and people like it
watching the live stream, this is about World Bowling, the world governing body of Tenpin Bowling. Is trying to find different scoring systems for events like this to make it more interesting or easier to understand for people who cannot calculate bowling scores like we know it traditionally.
Exactly. It was kind of all for the Olympic movement. So, I don't know where it's going to go from here. The fact that we didn't quite get where we wanted with the Olympics this time. So whether it will stay or not, I'm not sure. But Just so when you walk into a bowling centre and you have, teams playing each other, and you have a 5-man team event, for example, it takes an hour to bowl. You don't really get the excitement until the end, 9th, 10th frame. For those 10, 15 minutes, that is fantastic, but getting there, and it can be confusing. If somebody, you bring in a big sponsored guy who doesn't bowl, and you try to sell him bowling and say, now if this guy strikes out, if this guy gets a 9 miss or whatever, and you try to explain the whole scoring system, it's not that easy. To us bowlers, we love it. I love the scoring system we have. I would never change what we do when we play tournaments and we pin build and get in a final. I actually really like our scoring system. But to someone walking in who's not a bowler, who doesn't spend their whole life learning how to score, it is tough. There's a good shot there from Jesper. Not sure if he got his hand around it a little bit more. It's very easy to critique these guys when they're in the final and they're making it look so easy, but it's not. You can see them really splitting boards. Don't have a lot of area. You have to keep your speed exactly the right pace, otherwise your ball isn't going to hit the pocket, and they're doing a great job. I think you could say Jesper was a bit unlucky there perhaps, so he got his hand around the side, whichever one. He makes a spare.
And that gives the opportunity to Osku to take the lead with 1 or even with 2 more strikes.
Yeah, there's no worse feeling than seeing your opponent strike and strike and strike and strike and put you under the pressure to keep striking yourself. Or even if you're not striking, it's even worse, because nothing you can do is ever going to affect them from striking. But the fact that Jesper 9-pin there gives Osku a big opportunity right now.
And here we
A
go.
little bit in. Yeah, he did miss.
4-7.
He missed left on the wrong lane then. That's the lane that hooks a little bit more, lane 28. He didn't get it quite as far to the right. He's fortunate he didn't split, to be honest. But he'll take 8, get the spare.
Yeah, we've seen a couple of Greek churches today.
So
in
easy.
the rounds.
Yeah, it's so easy to do it.
And I saw Pasi Wotila of Finn sparing one of the Greek churches.
Yeah, I saw that. It was, great spectacle to see it. These pins do fly around. You don't actually even need to hit them that hard. You have to have your ball kind of rolling the right way into the deck. Sounds a bit crazy, but they all come out, as you can see from Osku a minute ago, getting the pin up to the arrows. He throws it hard, it comes out. You don't actually have to throw it that hard, but you won't get it to the arrows if you don't. But if you want to hit another pin, you don't really need to.
Does he throw the fastest ball on the PBA Tour? If you want?
Yeah, fastest ball I've ever seen. So that's a little bit further right, but it came back, got a 10 out. A little bit further right on the tight lane, so you have to remember that. If you're going to miss left, do it on the left lane. You miss right on the right lane. Okay, so we'll see how Jesper responds. Jason Belmonte and Oscar were back in Japan a few months ago, and I think Jason gave Oscar an 11-pound ball and said, how hard can you throw it? I think he was pushing high 53, if not 54 kilometers an hour. I think he posted it on Belmo's Facebook somewhere, but yeah, it's crazy. I've never known anyone to throw a bowling ball harder than that. And that's an 11-pound ball. Obviously, that's a lot lighter than what we use in 15 or 16. But he throws a 15, 51, 50, 51 when he goes for 710s and stuff like that, or he used to at least.
So he should be in a Guinness Book of World Records, right?
Well, I'm sure he could be. Good spare from Jesper. So now we're talking about the scoring system. It's kind of lucky that it was after a spare he already had. It wasn't in the middle of strike, so it only cost him 11 pins off his total. So after the 8 pin, sorry. I think I called it a 9 pin before. The 8 pin on the left lane. That would have been 279. He gets 9 spare straight away. That's only 268. He only loses 11 pins. If it was after a double again, it would have been 21. Good
better.
shot from Jesper. He knows it too. He's like, that's the one. You can see it in his reaction. He'll just follow through. Kind of clenched his bicep towards the end and said, that's what I want to do. That's the one. So, very clear in his mind about how he's going to strike. He just needs to execute.
He had his breakthrough when he won the Ballmaster Open.
Yeah, that was incredible.
One of the longest running tournament in Europe, and one of the most popular, and most probably one of the toughest to win, because you have to go against 500 and more Finnish bowlers.
When he won, I think 2011, like you said. 2011? 12? Anyway, he was the first non-Finn to win in about 10 years or something, 12 years. Bill got very close, I think, the year before, but didn't get there, and Mika and Passy and Chemo kept winning. But Jesper was the first non-Finn to win in, I think it was around 10 years.
Yeah, and that was his first European Bowling Tour title at that time.
Yeah.
Went to Poland, and actually would have won his second, but he made a foul on his last shot in that tournament, and I was so surprised. I watched it in the live stream, and we didn't know what happened because they commented in Polish, and my Polish is really poor.
Mine's way better, don't worry.
Yeah, we learned he made a foul, and just because he was too quick, maybe due to the lack of experience at that time.
Well, he kind of been 18 years old, I think. You know. Oh, good shot from Oscar. I thought that went a little long, but no, it was perfect. Yeah, he was. He won a Ballmaster at 17 or 18, and then a few months later that happened as well. You know, it's a very tough thing to happen if you foul when you need just count to win.
Yeah, I think the
guy's
still 21 right now. Is that true? I think so.
Yeah, I mean, he's not. He's been around a long time, but he's still not that old, really. It just shows great class of Jesper Svensson.
And he needs that one, definitely. Didn't get it. Another 6.
Yeah, that didn't quite get as far left, and it's kind of hard to read Jesper's release all the time, but Oscar said he thinks he moved a little bit further left and tried to throw it a little bit harder, but it read up, left him a 6-pin.
So that means Oscar has 6 out of 7.
In a very commanding position again. He's in the 230 pace. Oscar has a triple, 8 spare triple. Jesper has a turkey and then spares, triple and then spares. So right now Oscar's 20 pins ahead. Oscar's on 230 pace with the 8 count, and because of the 2-9 spares that Jesper had back together, he's also has an 8 count, and he's on a 218 pace. Pace means you go strike spare, you feel 20 every frame.
That was tough.
So that gives Jesper a maximum of 237. Right now Oscar's already in 230 pace, so very much in control of this match. If Oscar goes and strikes the first one in the 10th, again he just needs 1 spare in the last 2 frames.
So that would mean Oscar is going for
the count. He would need 2 spares
for his 3rd title here in Vienna, which breaks the tie with Chris Barnes, who's the only other one
with 2
who won 2 titles. And I bet Chris Barnes would have loved to be here again.
He would, yeah, I know
but
that.
He's injured. I've learned he will have a back surgery soon.
Yeah, and we saw him bowl 3 weeks ago, and he won in Korea. He didn't look. He said he had a very tight, kind of like sciatica. He said, but it's like he found out it was a herniated disc in his lower back, and needs an operation. He's going to keep him out for a couple of months. Hopefully, he'll be back for World Series at the beginning of December. But that takes him out of the Weber Cup, takes him out of the full classic, the doubles that he would have played with Tommy, and also that he's in a fantastic team with Tommy, Bill O'Neill, I think Wes Malott and Tom Doherty, I believe. All right, that's okay. Oscar can kind of deal with that because he's still in 230 pace. This is now in 237 pace. That means if he doubles, it's over the next 2 frames. But Jesper has to strike out for 237. But this is a very important spare.
Misses it. Oops.
All right, so that now means Oscar needs to strike out for 245. He's only 8 pins in front now. Not quite sure what happened there. Kind of looked a little quick. Who knows? I mean, everything looks a little quick when Oscar misses anything because it is quick. But fact of the matter is he missed it. It's now an 8-pin game. Oscar still has the game in his hands, but he has to strike out. He's in the 9th frame, 185 with an open in the 8th. Jesper is going to have 177 in the 8th if he strikes his next shot. Big shots now. Looks a bit quick. Alright, that was a great shot. I thought that was fast on that lane, but no, it was perfect. Hooked up. Now, with a spare here, Oscar can strike out for 235. That means Jesper now has the game in his hands. Jesper strikes out for 237. Jesper knows the scores are right there. Everybody knows. Everyone at the back is behind us. We've sat right up at the lane, trying to talk a little quietly when they only approach.
Yeah, this is bowling.
And
pretty fast.
yeah, everybody knows exactly the score, knows what happens. Jesper gets the next.
Yeah, from
3 strikes
from a very
in 9.
comfortable position to don't have it in your own hand. It was in 2 frames.
Oscar kind of messing around with tape there. Maybe his feel wasn't quite right with that ball.
Yeah.
Kind of spoken about it before with Oscar, where he says he doesn't use the spare ball that often, so it's hard to always know how your hand feels. Anyway, Jesper
Finishes first,
strikes out.
9s and 10s frame now. Number 1.
Looks a bit right. No, good shot. Good shot, nice and firm. Kept it on line. Oscar said he thinks he moved a little bit more direct and threw it harder, and that's exactly what he did then. A little bit more direct. Speed was certainly up there. So 2 strikes and 9 from Jesper, and it's over. Anything else? Oscar's got the game back in his hands.
So for all spectators, this is actually what you want.
Exactly.
Comes
yeah,
down
you
to
come
the
down
10th frame, and everything is possible now.
2 of the best bowlers in Europe, if not the world. Jesper's dominated the European tour. Oscar's won the biggest tournament of the year already this year. This is it. Has to strike now. It's hard. Good shot. Everything looks hard to me. I can't throw it that hard. But that was a great shot from Jesper. He's not taking too much time here. He's wiping his ball. He's getting ready. Knows exactly what he needs to do. He needs this 1 and 9 pins to win this tournament. Going through his routine, lining up. Crowd are shushing people. This is it. It's a good shot. Ooh. Lucky liked it. It looked like he liked it. He looked down, I'm not sure. So hard to say because it all happened so quick, But
a very bad
it went
result.
through the face. He got 7.
It's just a 7 count.
Well, the
Big
open
point.
doesn't matter because it's a fill shot, but it's going to be 223 with 2. That means Oscar goes 9 spare 9. It's a tie. Strike 9 spare for Oscar, or strike 9 miss even for Oscar is
The
enough.
7 count was a disaster for.
The count
Svensson
makes a
here.
big difference
Yeah.
for sure, because now instead of
223.
if he'd have got 9 spare, would have been 226. Now Oscar needs 9 spare strike to win. Anything more, and it's over. Oscar needs 9 spare strike. And bear in mind, the last
Tie
time in
would
this
mean
lane,
we would have a 9th and 10th frame roll-off, as far as I know the rules
Yeah.
here.
so 9 spare 9 would be 223 tie. Last time in this lane, though, he left that 10 pin and he missed it. That always plays in your mind. The last time you were here in this position and they didn't have as much pressure, you didn't even strike. Now you have all this pressure in the tournament. Can you strike? 9 spare strike, wins by 1. Strike, 9 miss because of the count would be enough. Needs this one. 2-8-10.
Oh!
It's over. That's it. Even if he spares it and strikes, it's 222.
Unbelievable.
I don't think he got that far right. If it was firm. Oh, he's not happy. You can see he's disappointed.
209 to 223, and I think even Jesper couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
But he is the winner of the 13th Columbia 300 Vienna Open. Jesper Svensson, I'm a little bit
he's
stunned from this.
fantastic year,
final.
Jesper.
Yeah. God.
Now, we know
And from
Oscar-
actually from nowhere to first place within 2 days here. When I talked to him, as I said on Friday, he couldn't believe that he would make anything here. And now he's the winner of the tournament.
Yeah,
He will get 7,000 euro first prize. Oscar still gets decent 5,000 euro for finishing
Yeah, it's
second.
not about the money for these guys. It's
Exactly.
all about the title and winning the tournament and the competition. And as much as Oscar didn't have the right shot where he wanted it, it does come down to Jesper being a fantastic champion. He got up, he struck the first shot of the 10th. Didn't look that much different to me. The second shot didn't go through the pins the right way. It hooked too much and he split. But he did enough. And like you said, a few days ago, he didn't look like he was going to be anywhere near winning this tournament. But now Jesper Svensson wins again. He's on a fantastic run.
Yeah, and that means he gets 150 ranking points for winning the gold tournament.
And he sews up the European Tour rankings already. Beginning of October, it's done.
Yeah, 2 tournaments left, including the Qatar Open, the
Which
last
is the one that
platinum
has
event.
all the points, but it doesn't matter.
But you have good memories to the Qatar Open, right?
My favourite tournament of the year, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm the double defending champion. Have a chance to three-peat that event. And yeah, I mean, once you get to the event, that stuff doesn't matter. It's all about starting again. But yeah, I've had a very good track record at that bowling centre, and I can't wait to go back.
Yeah. Somebody told me you're the player to beat to win that tournament.
I have probably the best record in that centre, but like I just said, once you get there, it all goes back to zero. No one remembers the past. You have to all do it all over again, and I'm looking forward to being a part of that.
Anyway, I wish you good luck there. I wish you good luck on the tour, as well as all the European bowlers there. Make as many titles as you can, plus the money, of course, which comes with the titles for sure.
We have a mortgage to pay at home, Cassie and I. I know Cassie's been watching as well, and yeah, looking forward to being home tomorrow. And well, thank you very much for having me. I've had a great time, and hopefully next time I'll be on the lanes. But if not, I feel very lucky to be a part of this with you guys. So thank you.
Thanks, Dom. I hope people enjoyed the show here from Vienna. The outcome was a little bit dramatic at the end. Jesper Svensson, the 200 lefty from Sweden, wins the 13th Vienna Open. Second place for Osku Palema from Finland. Third was Stuart Williams from England. And fourth place for Thomas Larsen of Denmark. We will come to the award ceremony pretty soon. Tournament director Thomas Gross is just waiting for a couple of things, and Mike Quitter, sponsor Columbia 300, will be presenting the awards and the prize money, and that's it for from the 13th edition. You can follow all the action on our YouTube or Ustream channels. And for the complete results and photos and stuff like this, just go to bowlingdigital.com and see what's next. We will pretty soon we'll have a major relaunch of the website in a completely new outlook. So stay tuned for what's coming next. Thank you and goodbye.